Hello, another week. As I mentioned at the end of last week's vlog, today is Monday, the 12th of October, but I haven't actually been on a run today because the van's been in a garage, but I'll get to that. So I've not been on a run today, but I've kind of been working because there's always stuff to do admin-wise. So I've got a few things I want to just mention for your input and things I can share with you. First one is fuel cards and fuel price. So since I started, I've had a fuel card, a Shell fuel card through UK Fuels, which is quite good because I could use it at Shell stations, Esso stations, Texaco, Gulf, Total, none of the supermarkets, but I tend to avoid supermarket fuel anyway, to get the more branded fuels, but not to go into that too much. But I'll probably in the future do a video, my take on supermarket diesel versus branded diesel, but that's another video entirely itself. So yeah, I haven't really been happy with the price I was getting from UK Fuels. So it's been like 90, these are all quote prices before that, so add 20% to get your pump price. The last month or so I've been paying like low 95s, and then this week it's going up slightly to 95.46. And thanks to those who have shared what you're actually paying, and I've been looking online what other people have been paying on forums and such like, including truckers, but they obviously pay less because they're using shed loads. They're using like 500 litres, 600 litres a week. But anyway, most people are paying like 89 pence a litre, so that's like 6 pence more. So I phoned UK Fuels this morning. That was the top of my to-do list, and said, "You're not competitive. Why am I paying so much?" I don't know, obviously worded that. It was a bit more polite, but and immediately they said, "Right, I'll have a look what I can do." Put me on hold for a bit. Come back to me and says, "Oh yeah, we can drop it down to 92.46, which is basically looking at it's exactly 3 pence off." But it's still 3 pence more than what most people seem to be paying. And she says, it's the lowest we can go, and I'm afraid. But, it's just a case of, I had to ring them, and then they immediately say, "Oh, we can actually do it cheaper." You kind of want one that's going to remain competitive, that you don't have to chase. And I've heard that before about fuel cards, and most of them, to be honest. You have to keep chasing them to get a good price. They'll just slowly creep it up and hope you don't notice or don't get round to ringing them. Because you've got to ring them in office hours. When you're on a run, it's not often you get the chance to do stuff like this because you're either on a job or you're looking for a job. And if you're quoted on jobs, you can't phone people because you're expecting a call back, aren't you, from shippers. But anyway, they said that. And they agreed to waive some other charges and stuff, some small charges. Because I think they were putting 1% on top, so it wasn't even that at all. A bit like a hidden charge. So I said, "Okay, yeah, great. That's the best you can do. That's the best you can do." So that's set for this week. A bit cheaper, but I looked online. I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with paying that still. So I did a bit of research online who I could get a fuel card from. I settled in the end on a company called BWOC or Block. Sounds a bit like a chicken, easy to remember. So yeah, I phoned them up, and they do their own card which uses the Key Fuels network. Key Fuels is one of the biggest cards, I think, one of the biggest, the rival of UK Fuels. But I don't know entirely sure how it works, but this is a Block card, but it uses the Key Fuels network, and they said, I don't understand it, but they said the fuel they buy, they put it into their system or something, so they get a good bunker price, and I don't really know what any of this means. But the bottom line is, they say at the moment, like this week, so it's coming in a post, and if I use it this week, so now until Friday, I'd pay 87.65 pence a litre, which I reckon might be slightly like introductory price. If it kind of settled at current fuel prices, assuming like the crude oil price doesn't go up or whatever, or general pump prices don't go up, if I stay in like the low high 80s, I'll be quite happy. It's still saving 6p a litre on what I'm doing now, plus the VAT bit, obviously. So yeah, that's the fuel cards bit. So yeah, thanks for everyone who said who they're using and stuff. I'll let you know how I go with this new firm. One few things I read about this firm is partly why I went for them is that a lot of people just said they give you a good rate and you don't have to chase them. They don't mess about because frankly can't be bothered chasing people. Right, so that was the first thing. That was fuel cards I've done today. Second thing I've done today is I haven't done my books today. I normally do that every other weekend, but I had a few invoices to chase up late payers. So I had 4 to chase up. And it's a bit strange again. Like one said, "Oh, we've sent the payment through. It actually should have been with you today." So I'll check on the weekend and hopefully that'll come through. They got good feedback and stuff. I'm sure that's the case. It was actually late, but not massively late, that one. I think that was due on the 4th of October. There was some, I've been a bit slack really. There was some that are due 30th of September. So I've given them 2 weeks and some of them had come through late, some of them ones, but there was still 3 outstanding. And all of them 3, it's like you ring them up, they ask you for your CX number, they ask you how much it was, and then they go blah 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 with job and go, "Oh yeah, I'll get that sorted straight away." So it's like, oh great, yeah, you're going to get the money hopefully, but why do you have to make the call? Do they just selectively not send it through, and then if people don't chase them up, they just won't pay, obviously, which maybe it's a genuine mistake, but it's just a case of like I didn't have to provide anything extra. I've either emailed it to them or sent it in a post or done both. I always make sure I do exactly what I need to satisfy their invoicing and pod requirements. Just like I always try and make it easy for them to pay. And then you do have someone doesn't pay on time, hopefully you get less of that and it's easier resolved. So that was a thing. That was the second thing I've done today, chasing up invoices. And the third one, the main reason why I had today off, was when I had the van serviced by the independent garage to Renault service inspect to maintain the warranty. Remember I showed you this photo, the weep or oil leak from the cam chain cover. So that's the cam chain, the engine block, and there's a bit of oil in this area. So yeah, I booked it in for Renault to inspect it first, and they've inspected it and said it's not a proper. They said it's not a full leak, it's just a weep. It's losing very little oil from there. To be fair, like I never notice oil beneath the van or anything like that, but it does use oil. I reckon it's used I've had to top up about 5 litres in 30,000 miles, and they reckon that's okay. They reckon that's like not unreasonable. Which to me, I'm actually a qualified mechanic, even though I never worked in a garage since I left college at 18. That just seems ridiculous to me now, but my old car, my old Astra, which had 200,000 miles on the clock, didn't use a drop of oil. So if it's not leaking it, it's burning it. But I have heard some people say these modern diesels with all the, all the gubbins, all the AdBlue, all that stuff, DPF, diesel particulate filters, and EGR, exhaust gas recirculation systems, and all that crap on them. I've heard people say they do actually use a bit of oil, but I don't know, there's no blue smoke or anything. That would obviously be major if it was doing that, but interested to know, what do you think? Do you think that's reasonable? If anyone's got a modern van, does it use a bit of oil? Assuming it doesn't have a leak and it doesn't loads of blue smoke out the back. Does your van use a bit of oil? Does that sound reasonable to you? I didn't really push it. The good thing is I've got it back and I just have to top it up every now and then. Because if they were going to do it, they said it was a 2-day job, 8-hour job. So I'd have to keep it in for 2 days, which would have been a pain. If it did, they would have given me a van, in theory. But then is it worth doing it for getting a hire van for 2 days? But anyway, that's Monday update, and it's stuff around. It's not on the run, but it's like all the other stuff that goes with doing this, because obviously as you run the business, you've got business admin, you've got people to chase up, you're trying to keep your costs low with a fuel card. It's all part of it, I think. So I just thought I'd share that with you. It's already got to nearly 10 minutes already, so yeah, there we go. That's Monday update done. Right, back on the runs. Tuesday now. was a bit slack this morning. Obviously stayed at home last night. And after sorting a few things this morning, didn't really start looking for jobs until 9:15, I'd say. And there was a fair bit on there, like on the feed when I logged in, which is good to see. West Mids seemed quite busy, and a job pinged up, and it's a shipper I'd done work for before, and it was picking up in a area that I picked up from before for them, so I kind of knew what the job was. Short wheelbase job, 11 miles from home, down to sort of Slough area, or Windsor is where I am now. So I went in at 72.5 pence, including getting there, which loaded was worked out about 80 pence a mile, and yeah, I got the job. Since this shipper, I think it's a thing that you do a few jobs for a shipper, and they want to know you're a safe pair of hands, kind of thing. I was quite confident I'd get it. Sure enough, the phone rang, and yeah, got the job. So that was picking up from like last Monday. I picked up from the same place for the same shipper. It was the company that manufactures and the sort of like wholesales stair lifts and that kind of thing. So yeah, it was a short wheelbase job, but it turned out it was just like 7 boxes, but 2 of them were quite long, maybe 1.8 meters long, something like that. So we couldn't go in a short wheelbase van, but it was really light. So I got that really straightforward ride down here, no traffic whatsoever. Delivering to, when I've done the jobs, picked up this place before, normally delivered to like mobility sort of businesses and stuff, but this was actually delivering to a residential address for the fitters. They're going to turn up late this morning or something late this afternoon to fit it. So yeah, just the lady was there, elderly lady, so I did have to handball it into a garage, but literally less than 5 minutes. Really nice old lady, asking loads of questions like, oh, are you going to liaise with the fitters and stuff? And I just had to say to her, sorry love, I'm literally just the courier. I don't really know much about it. If you want to give the company a ring and just let them know it's all here and good to go. Yeah, so that was that, straightforward. So got down here, tipped about 20 past 12. It's now 20 past 2, and the feed's pretty quiet, to be honest, down here. So I've set my home area sort of more towards Heathrow. So I'm getting jobs for today and tomorrow, maybe a bit further into London. But the feed's pretty slow for down here, to be honest. So, and there's loads of drivers, so fingers crossed they get something. A bid on a few, but nothing yet. But that is Tuesday so far. Alright, Tuesday evening, 10 to 8. So yeah, I had about another hour's wait there. So I waited until about 20 past 3. Yeah, so I had like 3 hours wait from tipping my last job. Eventually I got a job, one pinged up, small van job from Bracknell to Bristol. It was only 20 minutes from it, and it was like, yeah, it was 20 past 3, and it was pick up before 4, so it's slightly, normally it's like within the hour, so that generally means it's a bit more on a hurry up. So I thought, yeah, I priced it at, I was just keen to get out of there, so I priced it with getting there, which is 10 miles, 65p, which is small amount of money, but including getting there. And yeah, it was one of these ones where you sometimes get it says text only, which can be a pain. If the feed's busy and it's a job you might be interested in, it can be it's hard. It's a bit more of a faff than just doing it through the app. But obviously the feed was really quiet today, surprisingly quiet, that part of the world. Yeah, so when you do that, obviously you have to include your CX number as well. So my price, which was £59, ETA 20 minutes, and then CX number, blah blah blah. And then he replied pretty much, or she replied pretty much instantly, saying, yeah, okay, it's yours, I'll send it over now. So that was good. Just glad to get out of that part of the world, because it did seem surprisingly quiet. So set off to the pickup, but the pickup was a bit funny, like it had the company name, street name, blah blah blah, postcode, put the postcode in, and before I set off I normally check that the road is right, but the road wasn't right. So I googled the company, and it was definitely in that location. So I just thought, all right, the road name's wrong. Set off there, get to the unit's all locked up. No contact number, no one there obviously. So I rang the shipper. They gave me the number for the guy, the contact name and number. So I rang the guy and he says, yeah, I'm not actually there, I'm at home. And he didn't really know what I was there to pick up, which is a bit strange, but anyhow, turns out a package had been sent to him by mistake, wrongly. He was at his home address where he was, which was like 10 minutes down the road, 3.5 miles. The guy's got his brake lights on. Yeah, so long story short, I basically had to then go to his, and in the meantime he spoke to the shipper and they between them worked out what I was actually here to pick up, because obviously he's got his own business, he sends out quite a lot of deliveries anyway, and something had turned up wrong. Yeah, I picked it up and set off over here, delivering to, it was like a food processing plant. It was an abattoir and food processing plant, loads of like refrigerated artics going in there, quite a big place. Dropped it off. I was in Bristol now, sort of like just to the west of Bristol that was, so just 4 miles into the sort of west side of Bristol. Had myself a nice Chinese. This is my favourite from this place, Four Seasons Chinese. So I went in there about 6:30, ordered a fried rice, my house special fried rice, which was very nice. I recommend this place. Good reviews on Google. Yeah, and I concur with that. And when I was waiting outside, because obviously you have to wait outside these days, I noticed there's a barber's next door, and it was open till 7, so still open. No queue, just, the barber was just sat there watching the news on the TV. So I nipped in and got my hair cut. So that's the first professional haircut I've had since before lockdown, so like March maybe February even. I've been cutting my own hair since then, so it's quite nice to have a proper professional job done. So yeah, got a job, killed a job during a week, so that's to get done on a weekend, which is nice. So yeah, I'm in Bristol now. Not much has come up this evening, nothing annoying. But actually where I'm sat here now, I thought I'd stop here, get my Chinese, and then move on and find somewhere like in the suburbs to park up and sleep for the night. But to be honest with you, this road here is really quiet. It's like set back from the main road, and I can park here until 8 o'clock, and then from 8 o'clock I've got 2 hours and I'll be long gone before then. So the Morrison's just down the road, so yeah, it's a good spot to tramp here, so I think I'm just going to stay here, to be honest, save moving the van. Do edit this video now and look at a bit of crap on the internet, kill a bit of time. So yeah, that is, I got an extra 10 quid for that job because all the faffing around, so it's 69. It was 94 this morning and 69. So what's that, about 160 something, which isn't a great day, but it was looking pretty crap while I was still in Slough area. So yeah, reasonably happy with today. It's not the end of the world. So yeah, that is Tuesday done. What the fox? Mr. Fox. Did you see it? Yeah, I was sat there last night. It was only about 9:30, and a fox, an urban fox, came strolling down a pavement and crossed. I can't tell whether you can see it in that vid. I know when I put it on the computer later. Yeah, quite a big fox. Looked in good health, that one. Sometimes you see some really scraggy ones, but yeah, that one looked quite healthy from a distance. Yeah, so that was last night. It's now 9:30 on the Wednesday. So from the second day on the run. Another slightly disappointing day. So I was in Bristol. There's a few jobs coming up in the morning. Took me until 10 o'clock to get a job. Just a bit slow. We're kind of steady, but slower than I'd hoped. So I thought it might be in Bristol. The job I picked up, it was actually a medium wheelbase job. But it was about 20 miles from Bristol, 25 miles. And then it was going over to London, NW1. So, because I was quite far from it, I just priced it at like 65 pence a mile straight through, including getting there. Didn't think I'd get it, but I got it, probably because it's a bit out of the way. Not many people go out there, or no one that close to it. Yeah, so a bit of a drive to get there. It was about a 50-minute drive, and it's picking up from a residential address, which is in like a small village, quite a nice sort of house. And it was down as a medium wheelbase job, but it was 7 boxes, and I could tell from the shape of the box. I thought at first it was guitars. A bit of a chat with the guy, says, "Oh, are they guitars?" And he says, "No, they're cellos." So another type of string instrument, obviously. And he said what they do is, he works for the shop in London that I was going to deliver them to, and he used to work in London 3 days a week before COVID, but now he just does it from home. Apparently they buy them from China, these cellos, and then they do some improvements. And I says, "Oh, did you tune them?" And he says, "No, we just kind of like make them better. We do quite a lot to them." Thing. So yeah, and I could see on the boxes is they like blanked out or cut off patches on the box. It was probably said to Chinese make or whatever. Yeah, and they obviously improve them, restring them or whatever, and then sell them. So yeah, I delivered them to their shop in NW1, which was quite an easy drive into London by London standards. That close to the centre. Quite a nice drive over there. I don't know if it's the Mendip Hills. I think it might have been the Mendip Hills. I might be totally wrong. Past Longleat. It's like a safari park, isn't it? And then past Stonehenge, which is nice. Second time I've driven past there doing this courier work. Yeah, so that put me in northwest London. But when you're in like NW1, it's all like, permit parking. And if you park in some bays that aren't permit, you've got to pay by using your phone, and there's cameras and all sorts. It's kind of why I don't like London. It's this like, there's so many rules and regs, and you've got to be careful where you park, and you just can't chill out in between jobs. So I thought, stuff this, I'm just going to drive west down the A40, heading towards the M40, and I thought there was a service there. I stopped. I think I must have missed it, because the first service I got to was the other side of the M25, so I did like 20 odd dead miles there. Wasn't there for long. Bid on a few jobs. Got a job from Egham, Surrey, which is like 20-minute drive, 25-minute drive from there, going to Swindon. So I bid on it. He rang me up to give it me, and he says, "Oh yeah, it's dropping in the morning." I didn't realise it was dropping in the morning. To be honest with you, I've kind of not really been on it today. I've been a bit, I don't know what's wrong with me, not really feeling it today, and a bit not under the weather, but just feeling a bit slow again today. So anyway, I took the job, so picked that up, and I hung around London thinking it'd be nice to get another small job, just to tie it up for the day. So it was 97 for the first job, 59 for this, which is what, 156 for the day. So not a disastrous day, but not great either. What's just generally been disappointing is yesterday when I was in London and today in London, it's just how quiet London is in South East. So I was NW1 and then West London area, and normally you'd expect like lots to be coming through, but you can't do them because even though it's only 15 miles, it's like 50 minutes or whatever. But there's just not that many jobs coming through, which is a bit worrying, because it's one thing when jobs coming through and you're not getting them because maybe you're a bit expensive, or you're not quite in the right place, or not getting the rubber to green. But when it's quiet, there's not many jobs coming up. It's more worrying, because obviously then lots of people start bidding for jobs. Whereas if it's busy, like all these jobs coming through, you're not getting them, somebody else is getting them, and that's going to keep them busy for a while. So the next one you bid on, you probably got less competition, kind of thing, particularly in the mornings. But yeah, so that's a bit strange. So I'm in Swindon now, just had some chips, so another great meal. Not really looking forward to kipping in a van tonight. I don't know, just not feeling it today. Yeah, so I got a drop off at 9, so I get that dropped off, and then I'll be straight back on a CX. trying to get another job. But nice to, when I went on yesterday, Tuesday morning in Birmingham, West Mids, it seemed quite busy up there. And since I've left there, like southeast yesterday and then Bristol and then back to the southeast, it's been pretty quiet. So it'd be nice to head north tomorrow. We just have to see how things pan out. But yeah, really, yeah, I'm not going to say I don't want to go somewhere. I ideally want to go north tomorrow, closer to home or the northwest. That'd be nice. But that was Wednesday. Right, so it's Thursday now, 1:20. Yeah, I dropped that job off this morning in Swindon. It was a building society, and I thought it might be in a high street or something, but it wasn't. It was like one of our office blocks in a business park, so that was nice, easy to drop. As soon as I dropped that, checked the feed, there was a job from Gloucester, like Swindon side of Gloucester, going up to Liverpool. So I thought I'll have a go at that. Priced at 68 pence a mile, getting there and through to the drop. A bit surprised to get it, to be honest, because I was like 35 minutes away. A few dead miles I'd priced in the job. Anyway, got it. That was just a laptop. Apparently the guy said it's like an end of contract job, so this is interesting to maybe know people do consultancy work for companies. They come towards the end of their contract, because you quite often see jobs for laptops and stuff. So that explains why you see, partly why you see so many. Yeah, and that was just dropping off, picking up from a private address, dropping off at a company. Woo! Bloody hell, it's crazy here. Cars and vehicles all over the place. Yeah, and that was dropping off to some marine safety company. And outside was them big white boxes that you see on, ferries and stuff. The ones that are like self-inflating emergency vessels and stuff. So yeah, I ticked that, and then the same thing happened again. I pulled up just outside, quickly checked the feed. There's a job from Liverpool, L1 to London, WC1H, with a certain courier. I've done jobs from before, COVID samples, and bid on it. I went a bit, even though it's ULEZ, I knew it was very unlikely I'm going to have to go in there because I can park across the road, which is what I've done before. But I priced it including the congestion zone this time, 169. They rang me back at, said, can you do it for 160? It's all max we've got on the job. So I agreed to 160, which is 70p a mile, getting to the drop, because I was Knowsley, outskirts of Liverpool, which is a COVID hotspot, like most of Liverpool, but particularly Knowsley apparently. And then, so I've just driven here to L1 to do the pickup, and then I got down to, like, say, Euston Road, WC1H. And that's so 160 for this and 117 for the morning on a much better day already. So come to the pickup here. It's L1 Central Liverpool. Quite interesting though. The building I need to get to, I can't get there because it's blocked off with security everywhere. And there's all these movie makers. It looks like they're making a movie. Might be called Vengeance. Never heard of it. Anyway, you can see security there. Movie making thing, so yeah, quite interesting. So I might have to Google this when I get a moment later and see what the heck's going on. Yeah, after I filmed that last bit and I phoned out the window and stuff, security guards started walking over to me or in my direction. I thought, Christ, is he going to take issue with me filming the thing or whatever? But no, he wasn't. So yeah. Anyway, somebody came and dropped them off to me because I wasn't allowed inside. This time it was COVID samples going to that lab. Last time when I picked up in Liverpool for this same company dropping off at this lab, it was slightly different. It was at the docks and it was like 5 samples, but this time it was like a transparent red bin bag full of them, so there's hundreds in there. So obviously a lot more tests done today. Yeah, and it was pretty straightforward drive down here. I'm finding the road, the Euston Road, just before I get to a drop-off, it always goes really slow because there's roadworks, and I think it's something to do with HS2 because that's being built in the Euston area. Just get snarled up in that, but not too bad. Parked in a normal spot, but normally there might be one spot or no spots and I have to park in a double yellows, and today there was no, it was all clear. It's single yellows and it's after 6:30 now, it's 7 o'clock now, so I think single yellow. I think I'm good to park here as long as I want. So I say dropped that off to the usual guy, the same guy signed for it. I've been here 3 times now, the same guy and I was on the door to sign for it. So I'm going to sit here now until about 7:30, see if any jobs come up central getting out of here. And then if not, I'm going to decide where I'm going to perch for the night, because I don't want to stay around here until it gets busy in the morning. So I could head west, which is what I normally do, and perch around Heathrow area and go to my normal tramping spot with the Chinese, good Chinese there, or like today actually go north sort of towards the M1 meets the M25 sort of Watford area for a change. Or I might do that job. But yeah, that's Thursday basically so far, but probably it. Right, it's Friday, nearly 2 p.m. Excuse me, and I'm in North London, but I haven't been here all this time. When I filmed that last clip, a job pinged up, and I did actually go for it, and I did do it. It was North London, somewhere to Cardiff, small van job. I went in, it was quite late at that point. I knew we'd be getting there quite late at night. I just priced it normal price. So I think I went in with getting there and all the way through at 68 pence a mile, which is 113, I think. And then the guy rings me up and says, I've only got 105 on the job. Can you do it for that? It was a small van job, late at night, not much coming up. But I said, yeah, just do it. Sometimes you just got to go with a gut feel. I was glad to get out of, obviously I was sat in central London, couldn't stay there overnight anyway, so I would have had to do some dead miles if I didn't get anything to sort of get further out of London, somewhere to stay for the night. Yeah, and that was picking up from a residential address, just 2 like Hessian bags. One of them was on IKEA sort of blue bags you get, and it was delivering to Cardiff, to a studios. There's quite a lot of studios in Wales, like Doctor Who and all that's produced down there. So I delivered there, 24-hour gate access. The guy said to me, actually, says, after he knocked me down, he says, I'm fine with you co-loading on this, but I mean the chances of we getting a job going that way. So he said as long as it's there by 4 in the morning, and I wasn't going to hang around. Obviously I wanted to get to bed before, too late. Yeah, and I had a bit of a chat with the security guard. I just joking kind of said to him, is it Doctor Who here? And he goes, no, not here. And he says, I'm not supposed to tell you what they're making here. It's all hush hush. And he did tell me, but I'm not going to tell you, because he did say it's hush hush. And he let me in on the secret. I'd never heard of it. Apparently it's on Netflix or Amazon or something, some series, quite well known. I've never heard of it, but no big surprise there. Don't watch a great deal of TV, particularly that kind of stuff. I'm going to Google it later and see how big it is, really. So yeah, I didn't tip there till midnight. And then I went to, I think I've stopped in Cardiff, this area of Cardiff, about 3 times now since lockdown. So I knew there's a Tesco around the corner. Found a really good spot this time to park right next to Tesco. So I'm outside the car park in restricted parking. But in the morning, I just got out, walked straight over to Tesco to get my meal deal for the day. As I did so, a job pinged up from there, from Cardiff again, going to North London, but this time it's further north, N21. What size job was that? Yeah, that was a small van job as well. So I went in at 117 this time, or was it 113? I can't remember. And I got it. No bartering this time. Yeah, straight drive back down the M4. And something I've off these 2 jobs I've noticed is worth sharing with you. I don't know if you've experienced the same. People are already doing it. When you look at the CX mileage in London, it'll show you like the most direct route kind of way, like cutting across London inside the M25. Whereas when you actually Google a distance, it tends to take you around the M25. It tends to be quicker as long as it's flowing. So on the way here, it added 7 miles to the journey, but it was half an hour quicker than going cutting straight through all the crappy roads through London. So obviously I took that rate, so the rate would have been slightly lower than I calculated. And it happened yesterday on the way there. So I think yesterday on the way there, probably just over 60 pence a mile, which is too low, obviously. But yeah, so I did 105 yesterday on that job. So yesterday I think it was my best day ever, 382, which made up for the 2 Tuesday, Wednesday being so slow. Yeah, so this morning I picked up a job in Cardiff. I had to get a wriggle on because I hadn't even packed away my bed, so I was supposed to be there in 20 minutes. So I had to quickly pack away the bed after getting a meal deal, shoot over there, got there 5:09, and then guy says, oh yeah, the guy's not here until 9:15 to give it you. So anyway, picked that up, and it's really easy getting to here. It's N21. I thought it might be a bit slow traffic, but coming around the 25, that was flowing fine. And then it was 6 miles from the M25 directly south from like the top of the M25 really. And it was 6 miles and it was like 15 minutes, which is like normal time. So yeah, that's, this part of London's right, I think, this far out. And that was, I picked up from, it was a computer server from some office retail supplies place in an industrial estate, and I delivered it to a bookies on a high street, one of these, little towns, regions of outer London. I won't say which bookies it was, but yeah, just one of the normal high street bookies. Nice lady there, took it from me, used their toilet, which was nice, had the lunch. So I'm back in North London now. The feed's definitely busier today in London than earlier in the week. And I've kind of landed on my feet, kind of. So that was 130, 170 or something today. The job pinged up from about half an hour drive from here over towards the east, Ilford. Dropping in Solihull. So Solihull is like the other side of Birmingham from me. But it's really close to home. Short wheelbase job, but I can't pick it up till 3. It's like 10 to 2 now. And I can't drop off till 8. Apparently it's going to a supermarket. The people I need to drop to aren't there until 8. But I'm happy with that. I'm just going to pick it up, have a trundle up there slowly. It is a short wheelbase job, so maybe I could do a small van job on the way, possibly. Boost the takings up. But if that's all I do, I'll be happy, to be honest, because with that 107, 100 and things, about 230 for the day. Obviously a really good day yesterday, so it's made up for that slow Tuesday, Wednesday. But yeah, that's probably going to be my Friday. So yeah, it's come good in the end, but obviously more in the summary. Yeah, counting my chickens before they hatched, so yeah, I waited around for a bit, headed over the 10 miles or so east to Ilford to pick that job up, get there. Only to find out it's been cancelled and it hasn't come through to the shipper, or the shipper hasn't bothered telling me. So that job was cancelled, so that was going to get me home nicely. So I got 25 quid for 10 miles or so, but it's going the wrong way, kind of heading east, and I need to go northwest to get home. So I'm in just some park now in Ilford, just down the road from the industrial estate, just down the road from here. Got a nicer place to perch. Yeah, so hopefully something comes up now, but there was jobs coming up I could have done on the way as well. I didn't bother doing them, quoting for them. So I wanted to make sure I had room in the van for something small, because I couldn't drop that job until 8. Get told it's cancelled, and now the feed's just gone really, really quiet. All of a sudden it was busy, and then from 3 o'clock it's just gone. So hey-ho. Don't really want to be going empty home from here, but let's see what happens. Right, final on the run update for the week. Yeah, so I'm at home now, parked up just on the corner from my house. 10 to 9. They're still a bit gutted that job fell through. It's quite rare jobs fall through, but when it's, Friday afternoon job, it was taking me like 8/10 of the way home, paying okay money, even though there was a bit of waiting around. Really chuffed to get that, and then when it fell through, I'd already waited around probably over an hour and a half for the pickup, but 25 is my charge, so 25 quid for waiting for probably an hour and 40 minutes. and 10 miles, but it took me further away from home. So in the end, some jobs picking up in London and stuff. I got kind of just like get another job now, even if it's local, just to sort of get some more money in, get closer to target for the day. A job pinged up East London to sort of West London, just off the A40. 25 minutes to get there, the app said, and then it said 45-minute drive over the North Circle, I think it's called. And so I went in. It was like 20, just over 20 miles, 22 miles, 8 miles to get there or something. It's about just under 30 miles all in this job. It was a small van job. So I went in at 35 thinking off them timings. Didn't turn out to not be enough, because it did take 25 minutes to get to the pickup. Just picking up a parcel from one residential address, taking it to another residential address. But instead of being 45 minutes from pickup to drop off, it was 1 hour 20, or just over. But at least it took me closer to home. So with a cancellation and that job, 60 quid for doing about 40 miles. So that's like 150 a mile. So there's a bit of money there to cover some of my dead miles home. Yeah, hoping something would come up going up here. But yeah, if I'd got that original job had come off, I couldn't drop it until 8 in the evening. It would, would have given me time to trundle up, get out of London before rush hour, and maybe even do a small job on the way up. There's a few jobs that pinged up that I could have done, but it never came off. So yeah, hey ho. I probably would have been home by 4 now, and I'd been on like 220 for the day. Instead, I think it was 113 this morning. 25 cancellation and 35. So that's 170 something. Bit below target, and some dead miles. So not the best day. Pretty uneventful drive up here after the last drop, as in traffic wise. But I did have a bit of trucker rage. I don't know what the hell was going on with this guy going up the M40, especially when I'm driving and I've not got a job on board, or I'm just like moving my perching spot or driving home. If I'm driving empty, I tend to drive really conservatively, just stick to 56. Because the difference for me between 56 and 70 or whatever is probably around or just under 10 miles per gallon. So if I'm not earning any money, I've got to I'm a bit of a frugal guy, so yeah, I like to, if I'm not being paid to drive, I tend to drive slowly to save money. So I was just sat at 56 behind this truck, not tailgating him, a good distance, and it was one of them big, really tall trailer Arctic trucks. And I noticed he was kind of like swerving a bit to the left quite a lot, and I thought, is this guy falling asleep? Or you know what I mean? Or is he just getting caught in the wind? But it's not that windy. It's a big tall trailer. And then it's on the M40, a bit of a going down a very slight hill. He started braking, brake lights coming on, down to like 45, 50 mile an hour. I thought, maybe he's just, the truck's got auto braking or something, stop it running away. He did that like 3 times, and I was like thinking, I just want to get around this guy now. So indicate to move out, but there's plenty of traffic in the middle lane and the fast lane. And then he starts indicating to the left, and I think, he has got a problem. Maybe he's got a dodgy tyre or something. So I go past him, and then he starts to pull back out again. So I had to pull into the middle lane then. Luckily there was a gap. So I could have got arse-ended. And then I look up, and he's there out the window with his arm going, whoa, waving his arm all over the place. God knows what was going on there. Maybe, I don't know, I don't think I was doing anything wrong. If anyone knows any truckers, I think truckers are just, not sure this guy should have been driving a HGV, the biggest, 44-ton truck, Arctic, with that kind of temperament. It's a bit worrying really, but hey-ho. Survived that one and just trundled back up here. Call it a day now, yeah. So I'll obviously do the summary either tomorrow or Sunday. Right, summary on a Sunday time. So yeah, just a 4 days work this week because obviously the van was in the garage on the Monday. So yeah, spent all the working nights tramping. So tramped Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, back on the Friday. So as ever, these earnings are just what I quoted. So that would have gone on top of these and my takings, not including costs. And then obviously tax and stuff. So it's not my take home as ever. So Tuesday, 2 jobs. Should say I didn't do any Amazon Flex this week. They're all CX jobs. So 2 jobs on Tuesday, 94 and 69, which was 163. Yeah. Wednesday, 2 jobs, 97 and 59, 156. So yeah, not doing too good up until Wednesday, but then Thursday had a really long day, 113, 160 and 105, which made for £378 for the day, which was my best takings ever for a day. Made up for them first 2 days. It was a 15-hour day, mind. So yeah, I started at 9 and finished about midnight in Cardiff. Friday, I had 3 jobs, kind of. So £113, £25 cancellation. That job, which I was really disappointed to lose because that's going to get me most of the way home. And then another £35 job that came to 173. So 3 days this week, I was below target, my £200 target, but I had a really good bumper day, best day ever on a Thursday. So total takings for the week were 870. So worked 4 days, that's £217.50 a day. So still met my daily target overall. Just need to get rid of them lower days. That'll be nice. Obviously not easy as that. So mileage for the week was 1,371. It's quite high considering I only did 4 days. But then on that long day, there's a fuel tank there where I managed to get 50 miles per gallon. I normally work off 45 miles per gallon, get slightly more than that. I cost 45 miles per gallon. It's about 12 pence a mile, but I did manage to get 50 miles per gallon that day because I did a lot of long jobs and sat on the motorway, not particularly going that fast. Yeah, so 1,371 miles, which works out at 63.4 pence a mile from leaving my house on a Tuesday to getting back Friday evening. So that's obviously all miles loaded and unloaded. Because in last week I did 72 pence a mile. I was trying to do a minimum of 65 pence a mile. A bit disappointed with that, but it's just how it goes. So overall, very up and down week. One exceptional day, which made up for 3 short, poor days really. And part of the reason that's low miles, that job that fell through on a Friday really stung me in the end, because after I'd done my last drop in London, I had 120 miles empty home, even though the 2 jobs and a job and a cancellation I did in London, it worked out at like 40 miles at £1.50. So, but it's still, when you got 120 empty miles, that doesn't work in my favour. Yeah, so I've still not had my fuel card yet. I think I'll probably come in the post this week. I'm going to go tramping 5 days this week. I'll work Monday to Friday, willing to tramp, hopefully stay at home during the week if I can. Slow is my thing, but basically I'll be ready to tramp every night. Yeah, so this week coming, I think I'm not going to actually do a week in a life vlog. I'm probably this week I'm just going to have a break from doing this. I think it's like 7, 8 or 9 I've done now. On the trot, I'm going to have a week off from doing this. I'll probably do a weekly summary like I'm doing now at the end of the week and share some interesting bits if they come up through the week that have come up. And this week I want to do another video on costs, on vehicle costs or vehicle cost in terms of vehicle depreciation and stuff. So yeah, I want to do that video. I've been meaning to get that done for weeks and I'm not getting around to it, so do less of this and get that one done. Fuel price this week, obviously I mentioned that the thing, the fuel card, like I say, has not come through. UK Fuels, they dropped my Shell price from 95 to 92, and then my price for next week is already going up to 93, so it's kind of like going up again. And I think it'll just, with them, it's just going to go back up until where it was, unless you challenge it. So yeah, really a bit annoyed with them really, but apparently there are a lot of them like that. Yeah, so that's it for the week really. Any comments, please add them below. As ever, anything that I've come across this week. Yeah, can't think of anything in particular for input this week. Maybe jobs around London. That last job I did on the Friday, it was only 22 miles, but it was from East London, East 18 to West London. It's like 22 miles. Small van job, and I went at 35 and got it, but it was obviously not enough. Any idea? Anyone who's got more experience of London, still struggling down there to know what I'm doing? What might you have charged that and still got the job? You don't know. Be interesting to know about that. So yeah, thanks for watching as ever. Cheers.